So I guess this is how you start a podcast. Normally, you have a podcast with multiple people and stuff. I decided, why not try it alone? What's the worst that could go on? The original plan for this podcast was to do all four of us in the group. Me, Rivet, well, I'll just call them their real names. Me, Chris, Kyler, and Sam. We were all going to be in the podcast, but that was like a year or two ago, and it just never happened. And so I've just had this Swab8 podcast account, and so I'm finally using it. I'm not expecting hour to 2 hour long videos. I'm just expecting here to come on here and rant about whatever I want to talk about and whatever dumb things I've thought up. I do know I do have a few things written down, and the first one is I was thinking the other night about final girls in horror movies and how weird of a premise it is, because it's always a horror movie where it's the main character is either a woman, or it's a dude who's got a girlfriend or something like that, or it's a group of teens that are stupid and whatnot. And it always ends up being there's one girl left. Maybe there's a boyfriend or some sort of interest that's alive at the end too, but most of the time he ends up dying trying to save the other person or something like that. And the majority of the time, the woman does survive, unless it's some, oh, we're edgy, we did a twist at the end. But I was thinking how stupid it was, because first of all, a woman would never survive. A woman, it would never be a woman to survive it. Whenever you see those like Netflix killer documentaries, it's always this man was able to kill 50 women before being caught, or he was able to lure 70 women into a back alley or something like that. It's never this killer was able to lure 80 men into his car and back home and stuff, except for if you're that one guy who used to pick up gay guys at a gay bar and then kill them. I don't remember his name. He was a crazy guy. But otherwise, most of the time, women are the targets, and most of the time, women are an easy target. So most of the time, it's a success for them. But also, not only they're not the ones to survive. They are the ones who are going to get caught immediately. They're either going to scream when they shouldn't scream, or they're going to trip on their high heels or something like that. But you wouldn't want to be the last survivor as a woman, because if there's no one else, normally it's either the woman kills the killer, or the cops show up and save her, or like she just gets away and the killer still remains at large or something like that. But if you were a woman, you'd probably end up dead by like the cops. Because imagine this: you're a cop, right? You get onto this crime scene. You had a call or something over the radio, and it was a frantic people, and they're like, somebody's trying to kill us. So you finally show up there, and it's a single woman. You're probably gonna open fire, because let's look at it. Woman, probably covered in guts and blood and dirt and stuff. Probably kind of a psycho after seeing what they've seen. You know, if you're like seeing all these dead people and there's only one person left, it's probably gonna be that one person left. So they're probably gonna open fire on her. She's probably not gonna live, even if she does beat off the killer or whatever. But not like beat off the killer, because I don't think Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers really cares for that stuff. Maybe Freddy Krueger, but that guy's kind of weird, and you know, he's burnt skin and stuff. You don't want to mess with that guy. He's got some weird stuff going on there. I mean, maybe the guys from Scream, because when Scream, it's always a different person. That's the whole twist of Scream, is like, oh, you don't know who it is and all that stuff. But maybe if you like, well, no, because never in Scream, it's always we have a goal of getting famous. Because I think in the first movie, it was like, oh, we're gonna be the sole, me and this other guy, we're gonna be the sole survivors, and we're gonna be known forever. Which I never get those movies where it's like oh, we need to become famous for something movie. Like Scream is those. I haven't seen the other Scream, so I don't know what those killers are up to. I'm pretty sure it's the same though, where they're just trying to get popular. A recent movie which I really enjoyed was Nope, by that one guy from Key and Peele. I can't remember which one. I know one of them's in the Mario movie, and then one of them makes horror movies. So kind of a split there. But I do know. Nope kind of has that where there's multiple parts in Nope where the first time like they see the big alien ship thing, I'm not going to try to spoil it too much, but when they see it, like their first reaction isn't call the cops or something. It's to get it on camera so you can upload it. And I remember watching the movie thinking, man, it's kind of weird they're not calling the army because I'm sitting there thinking, I would be on the phone right now, very worried calling the cops. I'd be like, you need to get the military, you need to get some missiles, you need to get some anti-air guns, you need to get a lot of stuff, because there is something big moving around, and I don't like it. But no, their first reaction is just get it on camera and, get famous off it. And then there's another scene with a biker. Well, not a biker, he's on an electric motorcycle, and he's this I think they said he was from a certain media outlet. I can't remember which one exactly, but it was one of the stupid ones, and it was really funny because he goes, "Oh no, it's someone from so and so," and I can't remember the media outlet. I'll have to figure it out later. But I do know that there's some like magnetic electric field going on. So he drives past and he's on a bike going like 70 miles per hour and it's an electric bike, so the electricity cuts off when he goes through the field and he goes flying, and the dude like goes over to check on him and stuff, and he's like, what are you doing, man? Grab my camera, record this, get your fame, and like I just don't get those movies because I've never met somebody that stupid who's like, bro, I don't care if I'm dying, you gotta record this so you can get popular. Come on, use your minutes to get fame or whatever. I don't know if I'm just not dumb enough to meet people like that or what's going on there, but I just don't think that's like an actual group of people who would do something like that. That feels too Hollywood-esque. Nope was a great movie though. Everything. It's so good. I watched Us. Haven't watched Get Out. I think that's what his first movie was called. But Us was great. Nope was great. I should probably watch Get Out. But oh yeah, the Scream movies. Scream movies have some great one-liners. Most horror movies have some great one-liners. The old ones do. I'm pretty sure it's Scream where he goes, I'm feeling a little woozy, man, after getting stabbed a few too many times. That's a great line. I'm pretty sure that actor is also the dude who plays Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Not the SpongeBob movies, but the Scooby-Doo movies. Which, oh my god, I love those as a kid, even though they were originally created by some dude who was really into porn at the time and was trying to make them a porno, basically. But the like producers and stuff, or the companies that were gonna accept it, were like, no. We see what you're doing here. We're gonna have to cut it back a bit. There was a lot of cleavage and tight suits, which still some of it made into the movie, but hey, round of applause for him for being smart enough to get it by the censorship guys. Another classic one-liner of the horror movie genre is, I think it's Aliens 2? It might be 3. No, it's Aliens 2, because I'm pretty sure in Alien 1, it ends with Ripley on the ship, and then Alien 2, she makes it to a planet, like they find her and they take her onto this planet and then the alien gets out or something like that. Either way, there's a bunch of Marines and soldiers and it's all these big guys and they're all manly, but then they get trapped after like fighting off a bunch of aliens and they're all scared and stuff all of a sudden. And one of the dudes just goes, it's game over, man, it's game over. And it's just such a good line. The way it's always like a classic one-liner that is delivered super weirdly. Like, it's never just delivered like, it's game over, man. It's game over. Or like, I'm feeling a little woozy. It's always like, I'm feeling a little woozy, man. Or like, it's game over. Like, it's never just a clear, concise sentence. It's always slurring speech and all that stuff. It's always goofy sentences. I think I would make a pretty good horror movie. I've thought of a few creative kills because most people have watched what's his name, Dead Meat. I think he does the kill counts on movies. He's a funny guy. I've watched most of his videos from time to time. I've gotten on those, but it's gotten me into thinking like how would I do a golden chainsaw? Which for anybody who doesn't know what that is, he'll give a golden chainsaw to the best kill of the movie and a dull machete to the worst kill of the movie. But I've thought of like some creative kills that I don't think would actually work. But like those for cooking, you've got what are they, rolls, I guess? The rolls of aluminum foil that you like can cover food with to like store for later, and you put it in the fridge and whatnot. But it's got little blades on it to like rip the aluminum foil in half, so you're not just trying to rip this thin sheet of metal on your own and probably mess it up. But you can use those little blades, I guess. They're like there's just little spikes coming out of the side of the box, but I always thought like because I used to cut my hands on those because I was stupid, but I used to think like, man, it would be so cool if like in a fight scene, it's like this one person, like the idea for the movie is one person sitting in a house and like they get attacked by robbers or something, like the movie where the girl's deaf, or the movie where the dude's blind and they've got to fend off these robbers in creative ways and whatnot. But I always thought like, oh, it would be so cool if they like got him in a headlock or something and like slit their throat using the little sharp edge of the aluminum foil thing. And I don't know if that would work. It probably wouldn't cut deep enough. It would probably cut you, but I don't think it would cut deep enough for a kill. But if you have like some hulking behemoth like Jason Voorhees, who's this big strong guy and whatnot, maybe even supernatural to some degree, like you might be able to force it through a bit, just spend a little time cutting, turn on some podcasts, aka this one, and spend the time, getting the job done, whatnot. And I wonder if this podcast could get sponsors. That'd be so weird if the podcast blew up before anyone's YouTube did, because Chris has YouTube, I have YouTube, I have Twitch. Chris might be streaming on YouTube a bit more. I don't know. He streams kind of whenever he wants, if he wants. I need to get him to make more videos. He hasn't made a video in a hot minute. I want to like try to force him, like at gunpoint, just go to his house randomly and be like, all right, we're making a video. And then just sit there, playing like Halo Wars on his computer while I've got a gun aimed at him. This isn't a real threat at all, so YouTube, be friendly with me. But yeah, then I think that would be a fun, bonding experience. Forcing him to make a video while I've got him at gunpoint while I'm playing Halo Wars, like drinking his sodas, eating his chips and whatnot. He doesn't even have soda at his house anymore. I think he's gone he just drinks water at his house unless he's out at like, if he goes out to a restaurant, he'll have a soda or whatnot, which is very, very healthy. I'm very, very proud of him for being responsible, because I had nothing to do with that, but I'm going to still claim proud ownership. I think if I got, it would have to be a good sponsorship, because I don't want to do one of those like, oh, I'm just gonna take this sponsorship from, men's footwear or something like that, or some company I don't care about, or something I don't actually use, like what was that one game? Everybody was using it. It was on the nobody could see it, but I just looked at my monitor, and I've recently gotten the Opera GX. This is not a sponsor, by the way. Opera GX browser thing, because I was like, it might help with my RAM and whatnot, limiter thing. And I'm like, what was that game? And it's got like 8 tiles on the screen of like Twitch, Discord, YouTube, TikTok, and then in the middle, Raid Shadow Legends. That's the game. It's even here on Opera GX. They've gotten sponsored or something like that. I wouldn't want one of those sponsorship. I want something like Gamer Subs, which I'm drinking right now. So if you guys want to send me a little money, I could, be a bit louder about it. But things like that. What are some other good sponsorships I would take? I don't use too many things, if I'm being honest. Maybe a VPN, because I've started using a VPN, because safety is a must-have on the internet. Does Discord do sponsorships? I doubt Discord does sponsorships, but that would be a really weird sponsor for somebody to get. A really weird, yet a really interesting one. Because everybody already uses Discord. Nobody, like, if you're playing games with people online, the only other thing I have used to talk to people online of, like, my computer is the Xbox Game Chat, which is something you can do with, like, if you download Xbox, you can do, like, Windows button and G and open up this little menu on your computer, and you can use the Xbox... You can use Xbox, like, accounts to, like, join a party on your computer. It's weird. But also the mics are always broken. Like, I would join, and in Discord, my mic's perfectly fine. But in that, I would join, and my mic's, like, 50 times louder, and it sounds like I'm basically eating the mic, and it's all goofy and stuff. It's It's a weird mess on that, but that's the only other thing I used because my friends didn't have PCs at the time. I was the first one to get it because, cracks knuckles, I am the rich one. I have no idea if I am. I'm probably not. I don't have that much money. Oh, speaking of PCs, I did my first, like, deep clean of my PC today, or not today, last night, and it was super stressful. I, like, unplugged all the things in the back of it and took it out, and I had to figure out, I was stupid enough to be like, okay, let me look up how you install a new graphics card, because I want to get a new graphics card, because I've got a 2060 or something, an old one that's okay, but I could be doing a lot better, because streams are still a bit laggy at times. But I was like, yeah, I'll look up a guide on how to install an RTX 3070 when I don't even have one, so I just know how to do it in the future. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I looked at my PC, I was like, this probably needs to be cleaned. I've never cleaned it. I've, like, dusted the outside of it, but I've never dusted the inside. I've had it for 2 or 3 years now, whenever my YouTube channel first went up. I could actually look that up right now, but I opened it for the first time, and it was horrifying. I remember the first time I saw something about cleaning a PC was Jacksepticeye posted something. Yeah, about 2 years ago is when I got this PC, I'd say. No, maybe a bit. No, yeah, about 2 years ago. Maybe a bit more. But yeah, just about 2 years ago now. Okay, so the only thing I'd seen on cleaning a PC is a post on Twitter from Jacksepticeye, and it was just like, man, all I wanted to do was clean my PC, and it was a photo of his PC with a bunch of broken glass in it because the window had broken. So I was incredibly stressed to open my PC because it's got windows on both sides, and I was like, oh god, oh god, oh god, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And so I figured out, okay, there's 2 screws on the back for either side, and you unscrew those and you take it off. I immediately learned why his glass on his computer broke, because I took it off and I was like kind of like inching it off, and then it just falls out of nowhere, and it's got this little it's like a flat piece with a slight piece sticking out on the very right side, so it latches into something, so it stays there when you're putting it back on, and it doesn't reach the entire bottom. It reaches like 4/5 of the way to the bottom. So once the glass slides off, that hits the rim that the glass was sitting on. And it's so heavy that I wasn't expecting it to do that. It's not like, oh, I can't lift it, but it was like, okay, this is heavier than I thought, and then just boom. And it scared the hell out of me. I was like, did I just break the glass? Nope, no cracks. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're dandy. And so I took it out. I took out the other side. I did a bit of cleaning. I, dusted it as much as I could. Really, there wasn't much dust in it other than the bottom of it, so I just dusted that real quick. I don't have too many parts in the computer. I dusted the fans a bit as best as I could. I got real nervous, though, because I have, like, these dusting pad things that are supposed to be used on electronics and stuff, but if it's like wood or like electronics or anything like that, the little fabrics stick to it, and you hear, like, a little when you pull it away because it's sticking to it. And I was so afraid to touch, like, any electronic piece that had, like, that I know was an exposed piece of something. Like, I touched the fans, the bottom, like, just the case, and that was about it. I set it on some electronic piece just so I could clean a fan that was above it and not have any dust fall on that electronic piece, because I didn't know what would happen if dust fell on it. But, like, I was so nervous. And so I finally did that, and I plugged it back all on, and I put it on my wall, and I was like, okay, the moment of truth, time to see if I broke any expensive things, and I put it on, and it ran fine, except for my fan started going, and I was like, oh, that's not good, that's horrible, oh no, because I had plenty of experience with my Xbox Power Brick doing that too. So I took it out of my desk again, undid it all again, and I found a can of air to spray into it. And I sprayed the fans, and I sprayed a bit more dust out of it and stuff. And I put it on, and luckily it worked perfectly fine. I haven't run into any problems yet, so hopefully that'll keep being fine. God, it was quite stressful trying to take it in and out. I've had some ghost experiences recently. That's an interesting thing I can talk about. So I talked about this on stream and stuff, but basically, I don't think I mentioned this part, but at like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 or so, my dog had to go to the bathroom, so my dad let the dog out into the front yard, and I could just hear her barking from downstairs. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go deal with this real quick. And she was just sitting outside on my porch, barking into the darkness. My neighborhood doesn't have any lights, by the way. It has one street light on like every corner, or like not even every corner. It has like one like street light at an intersection of stop signs. And even then, half the time the light either is incredibly weak, there is no light, or it's broken. It's really, you can't see anything outside. And my dog was just barking at nothing. Like, she was just sitting there barking into the darkness, which is already kind of worrying. But I've got deer in the neighborhood, so I was thinking maybe there's a deer or something, but she doesn't normally act like this when there's a deer. I was like, hey, inside. Stop being naughty. Come on, get inside. We don't need you barking at any ghosts, making any spirits angry. So I get her inside when she sees me, and she's like, oh, I'm so happy, because she's a... What is she? She's a King Charles Spaniel or something like that, which is a very loving dog. Let me look it up. King Charles Spaniel. Yep, that's the dog. She is a very, I will hug you if you give me any sorts of love kind of dog. And she is incredibly good at shedding. So you'll hug her for 5 seconds and then have 10 pounds of hair on your chest, which I do now. But she sees me and she's like, oh my god, I'm so happy, and runs inside and goes to bed. But I was like, okay, that was weird, whatever. And then I went upstairs, just played some games for a while, probably played a survival game, probably played Grounded for a while. And then at like 12:30, I'd say, I had to pee. So I run to the bathroom. And my sister wasn't here, so her room was empty, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to leave the door open because I'm just running in and out. And so I do that, and as soon as my stream ends, the stream ends, not a Twitch stream, P stream, as soon as it ends, I hear from downstairs in my house a woman go, and I'm sitting there going, now wait a minute, and this is right after my stream ended, so I'm not closed up. I am open. I am free. I'm free space for a hobo. Like, I am like a bridge. I'm like an open bridge on a highway. Like, just free space. Like, anybody could get me at this time. And so I'm thinking, that's probably not good. This is probably something I should be worried about. So being the calm-mannered man I was, I zipped up and I have this hallway where my stairs go up. There's a wall in front of the stairs that lead to a porch. You go left like a foot, and then there's a wall there, so you go left again, like 2 feet, and there's a wall there, and then you take a right, and then that's the hallway. That's the hallway that goes down, and there's bathroom on one side, 2 rooms on one, and then another room at the end. And so the bathroom's on the right side, so I just have to go across the hall. I don't have to look left or right, I just have to go across the hall to reach my room. So, being the calm, reasonable man I was, before I left the toilet, I imagined some SCP creature being at my stairway. And it's a very dark stairway. I didn't have any lights on or anything like that, so I was already, I don't want to look there. And my mind imagined this tall, lengthy figure that is kind of like SCP-096, which is, I think he's the smiling guy, or not the smiling guy, the crying guy. Is that his nickname? I don't know. It's the one where if you look at his face, he goes on a rampage and gets angry. But I imagined something like that, where it's tall, long, white, and skinny, with like sunken eyes and like spiky teeth, would be grinning at me, and its arms would be all like long and crooked, and like one arm would be against the wall, one arm would be against like the roof and something, and a foot would be against another wall, and he'd be like holding himself up. And because the stairs have like a banister in front of them, they have like this little, I guess, just like half wall, like blocking your view of the stairs, so that you don't just like walk and then fall like 3 flights of stairs down because there's no like starting step. But I basically imagined that. So I just booked it to my room and I didn't check. I shut my door, and I have a bat by my bed, and I just laid in bed with my bat in my hand, and I noticed after a while that I was so tense I couldn't move. Like, I had to physically let go of every muscle in my body to be able to relax, because my muscle was so tensed up and nervous holding the bat in my hand, because it was just like I was holding the gripper of it, and then the head of it was on the ground. I didn't know if there was actually anything yet, so I wasn't gonna just like sit there with my bat ready to strike. But after that, I'd say like 2 or 3 minutes later, I heard walking on my roof. And it's not like I heard it above me. Because I'm on the second floor, there's a roof behind my room where it's like the roof of the lower floor. And I don't have any windows reaching there. Luckily, the only window I have is on the side of the house where there's no roof and anything, so I could just like nothing could get me there unless it was a tall, scary creature waiting to kill me. But otherwise, I heard like walking on my roof, and you could get up to my roof on the side where my room is. So it sounded like somebody walking from where they got up to the other side. And there's a window on my sister's room. So I was thinking, I hope her window is locked, or else whatever is out there can just open that window and get in. Nothing came of that. But then, like 2 or 3 minutes later, I heard a door in the hallway shut or open. I can't remember which. I just heard like the noise of a door, like the click noise of the what's it called? I guess the lock going in. I just heard the of it like sliding in, and I just sat there like, I don't know what to do. There's a lot of scary noises going on. Not to mention, my grandma died of cancer in this house. Not upstairs, but she did live in the guest bedroom for a while. So I don't know if it's a ghost, because shortly after she died, I had a dream where I dreamed about her, and like it was just like a split second. I don't know if this is anything or just it was just after the death, so I dreamt it. But I just dreamed she was there, and she asked me, "Do you have any questions for me?" And I said no, and then I woke up. So I don't know if that was anything, but I do know my first thought was, is this her ghost? And the hum didn't sound like her, although it did sound like an adult woman. It didn't sound like her. And so I'm already like super nervous, but I'm also incredibly tired. So I'm doing that like my eyes are shut, and then I force an eye awake, and I'm looking at my door, and then my eyes start shutting, and I like can't really stop it, so I shut my eyes for a second, and then I force an eye awake. And I did this for probably like 2 or 3 minutes before I just passed out and slept. So if there was a killer in the house, I would have just died probably. But I talked to my parents, like they didn't know anything about it later the morning, so I was like, okay, I don't like this. We did some testing with sounds and like what could have made the sounds, and didn't really find anything out that could have naturally done it. And then that night, the night after all that, my dog once again went out there in the night to go to the bathroom, and she was barking at nothing in the darkness again. And I was thinking, okay, this is not normal. Something's going on here. And so I took a shower, and then when I got out of the shower, I was still in the bathroom, and I was hearing noises outside. That didn't help anything. But finally, I go to my room, and then when I'm going to bed, I heard 2 doors shut again. I swear to God, I heard doors shut. And it's like, okay, something's going on. I don't like this. This is not normal. And so my mother had jokingly said that day, I've got some smudge sticks. Do you want me to smudge the house? And she had bought it because we were moving into a new house, and she's like, I don't know, maybe if there's a ghost, I'll do something about it. You know, throw some hands with a ghost, smudge it up. And so I was like, okay, yeah, phasmophobia this, get some smudge sticks. And so I told her all about that, and then I woke up the next morning. So this is the third day of the first day was the night's like 3 things happening, and then the second day was dog barking and the doors again, and this is the third morning. I wake up, and she's smudge sticking my room, and honestly, I didn't mind because the smudge stick smells pretty good. I don't know what it's burning in there, but it's pretty good. But she smudge sticked the upstairs, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna make fun of you because I would have done it. I'm gonna stick with that. I'll take it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it didn't work. Whatever. But also, before all of this, I had talked to Chris the day after the first stuff happened. Sorry to be jumping around. But he was like, you need to get some cameras in this house. And I was like, I know. I've been wanting to get cameras for a while, but they're expensive. And, like, I don't know. Like, it's horrifying to think, oh, I need to check the cameras at night. But he was like, you know what? Honestly, I don't know if I would get cameras because I would be afraid if I actually did see something. I'm more afraid of actually seeing something than just thinking there's something out there. And later I talked to my mom, and she had the same reaction. I was like, Chris said we should get some cameras. And she was like, I don't know. I mean, I would get scared if I actually did see something. And I'm like, okay, there seems to be something going on here with people being more afraid of knowing something than thinking something, apparently. So cameras are a no-go. But she smudge sticks the house. All good for the rest of the day. Nothing happened that night. I went to bed just fine. My sister had a friend over. And I just went to bed. Didn't really care. And then last night this is the fourth night now, where I was sitting in my room, playing some Grounded again. Love the survival games. And I hear from downstairs my sister and her friend, like, giggling, being annoying and whatnot. And then my sister calls me. And she goes, "Are you opening the doors up there? Are you messing with the doors up there?" And I'm like, "No, I'm playing video games. Leave me alone." And she's like, "I'm hearing doors open. It's you. I know it's you." And I'm like, "It's not me." And she was told at this point. But he was like, "You're doing it." And so I'm like, "I'll take my headphones off, and if I hear it, I'll tell you something." And so I'm sitting there, playing Grounded, whatnot, with my headphones off, and then I hear a door shutting. And I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." Because I can still hear him downstairs. So I'm thinking, "Oh, there's something here. There's something going on. I don't like this." And so I literally I stand up, grab my bat. I always have my door shut. So I'm just sitting there staring at my door like, I will beat the living hell out of anything that comes in here. I am afraid, but I am also more afraid to die. So I'm not afraid to get into a fight. But I'm sitting there and I call her and I'm going, "That wasn't me. Wake up, mom and dad." And my mom is horribly sick at this point. She was sick that day, and she's still sick, but she was, like, in bed, not wanting to do anything. Like, I had to go pick up Domino's for dinner and stuff because she just wasn't able to do anything, which I'm not going to complain. I love Domino's. I love the pasta and stuff. But she, like, comes up here, like, they're all checking stuff out, and there's just nothing to be found once again. And so I'm like, okay. And then later that night, no more noises and stuff, but we've done some even more testing and stuff with doors, like what it could be, if it's like my dog scratching on a door or something, and we just can't find anything, dude. And it's worrying because I started thinking, what if there's a dude in the attic? But I'm like, okay, obviously there can't be a dude in the attic because I'd hear the attic open whenever somebody came down. But then I'm like, what if there's a hole in the roof that he's crawling in and out of, like a little hatch he's got? I'm like, no, I should stop thinking about this. And then I started thinking, oh no, my room is like the hot spot for it because the AC works everywhere in this house except for my room. Something's going on with the two vents in here where, like, the air just doesn't get pumped in here, so I basically am just screwed. I'm thinking, oh no, what if, like, the little foil tubes that go over it to transport the air, what if those are off? And he's watching me sleep. He's looking through the vents and he's watching me. I'm like, no, because one's right over my bed, so I'm constantly like, after I thought of that. But it's like, your mind can take 1,000 different routes to take. You know what, I should start taking the aluminum foil box up here to defend myself at night with, real scare him off with these tiny little bleeds I've got. But yeah, so ghosts may be a thing. We haven't had any confirmed evidence. I've thought of a few things. Maybe it was like a raccoon or a cat's on the roof. Maybe it was a dog scratching on a door. I have no idea how to answer the hum, though, because that hum was guaranteed a woman going, I don't know how to answer that one. Nobody was awake. I had one puppy in a kennel who doesn't make those kind of noises. I had 2 dogs in my bed, and another fourth dog in my parents' bed, but that door was shut, and it also was asleep and doesn't make those noises. So I was like, okay, I don't have an answer for that one. And my parents both came up with the idea separately somehow. They like to call her the singing lady. And so they like to make fun of me by calling her the singing lady, like, "Oh, did you see the singing lady?" But I know for a fact, I don't know about my dad, but I know my mom is actually scared too. Because she's the one who, did the smudge sticks around the house. She's actually worried. So she's like, "Oh, you see the singing lady?" And then she turns around and she's like, "I swear to God, if he saw the singing lady, I'm so scared." Like, all that stuff. You know what? We've reached a good amount of time here. I'd say I'm just gonna podcast end here. Maybe in the future I'll have guests. Maybe this will become more people than just a solo podcast, but I'm just gonna do short episodes for now, so.